Hello and welcome to episode 78 of the Pixel Street Podcast. My name is Joel Campos, and as always, I'm joined by the man who has pre-ordered every single Overwatch Pop vinyl that was just announced, John Hansen.
I'm very much on my way to doing that. It's got Bob, both silver and golden. Like, how can you pass up on that?
Who?
Bob!
Oh, that's one of the new guys.
It's Ash's old, the robot, the big Omnic Butler.
Yeah, okay. And we're also with somebody who doesn't care, Connor Kopp.
Yeah, you're right. That sounded like the babblings of a madman, and
How can you not care about Bob? Bob is the best character ever.
All right, I'm cutting you off. If you didn't know, this is the podcast where we talk about one of the things we love most, and that is video games. Feel free to follow our Twitter at Pixel Street Pod. Check out our Facebook by searching Pixel Street Podcast, or email us at pixelstreetpodcast@gmail.com. You can find our podcast on most podcast platforms on Fridays, as well as on YouTube. You can now watch the show directly on our Facebook page by searching for Pixel Street Podcast over there. Also, we're going to be doing another giveaway on Twitter once we get closer to 100 followers. We're going to start pimping that a little bit more. But yeah, look out there. Last time we gave away Cuphead for the Switch. But who knows? Maybe this time we'll just kind of see what games are coming out at the time. Or maybe we'll just give away a gift card, like $20 or something to your platform of choice. Who knows? We'll see where that takes us. Anyway, this week we are going to be talking about all the controversial theories, I guess, around Shawn Layden and him leaving Sony, crossplay on PlayStation, and why Mario Kart Tour sucks. John hates it. I hate it.
It does.
Connor, did you even try it?
I haven't played it yet, but I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts.
We'll get to that later.
So yeah, Connor hates it as well.
Sure.
But yeah, let's just get right into it. Let's talk about some of these new releases that we're excited about in the next week here.
I can't really think of any coming up. Well, I guess a big one that we have to talk about is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's not really something I'm excited for, though.
I think it's technically already out, too, if you bought the gold edition. I think it came out Tuesday.
Yeah, you're right.
There was an early access thing, but the game comes out for everyone this Friday.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's those new Joy-Con coming out this Friday.
Ooh.
Day of the podcast. Those two new sets.
All right, cool. I really want the purple and orange ones.
Yeah, especially because it's spook season. Come on. I mean, I'm not going to buy them, but if I were to buy some...
There's no way I have the money for them.
But still, those.
They look awesome.
Yeah, what is this Star Wars Triple Force Friday? I see that on this list. What is that?
Star Wars Triple Force Friday. It's an activity, it says.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're going to be announcing stuff tomorrow? Who knows?
I really don't know.
I do not. But regardless, there's really not much coming out. A bunch of random Switch games, as you could guess. Concrete Genie coming out Tuesday, October 8th. I know there's people excited for that. But other than that, not a whole lot on here.
I'm looking up the Star Wars thing right now, so it looks like it's a live stream that is taking place at where they shot The Rise of Skywalker, the new movie, in London. And it's going to reveal new products in advance of their rollout on Triple Force Friday. Okay, all inspired by a trio of the year's biggest Star Wars releases.
Hold the phone. Killer Queen Black comes out next week?
Oh, yeah, it does. Only on Switch and PC.
What about the Xbox one?
It's coming later.
Oh my god, of course the one that's going to be free for people is going to come later.
The Game Pass, yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm very excited for that game, and I'm probably going to buy it on my Switch as well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get it on Switch just so I could take it into the office and make my coworkers play with me.
Yeah, that game looks really fun, and I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, but nonetheless, that's looking kind of far into next week, but there's really not much. It looks like there's some Ukulele DLC coming, which I don't know who wanted that.
It's not DLC. Ukulele and the Impossible Lair is a new game. It's a side-scrolling game, and it's actually getting some pretty good reviews right now. I guess today was the embargo for reviews, and it's getting a lot of 8s and 9s. So
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, people are liking it so far. At least reviewers are. We'll see when it actually comes out for everyone.
Yeah. What about you, Connor? Anything on this list appeal to you?
Honestly, not much. It's kind
Connor's
of
dead.
quiet, to be honest with you.
Call of Cthulhu is coming out on the Switch, so that's pretty exciting. I gave that game a try on my Xbox about a year ago, and it's not anything amazing, but it's definitely something you can take a look at, especially if you're into kind of a darker story and everything like that. It was very interesting to me. Connor, you there now?
Yeah, I'm back. Ooh, boy, I'm back. Jeez, sorry. Moon's haunted.
It sounds like we're hearing you through your laptop.
You're on the wrong mic.
Cool. That's awesome. Moon's still haunted. I'll be back when I'm done with it.
All right. Joel, let's just move on to what we've been playing. What you've been playing this week?
I've pretty much just been diving more into Borderlands 3, man. I haven't done much else. I did a few streams. I streamed for like 4 hours, 3.5-ish last Saturday, and I streamed it last night for 2.5 hours. And I love that game, man. When it's not being when it's not dropping frames and stuff, it's a lot of fun. It runs real smooth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just feels great, and I'm loving it. I think I'm like 75-80% through the story, so I'm getting there.
All right, cool. What level are you?
I think I'm like a 36 or 37, around there, maybe 38.
Okay, cool.
What about you?
Well, I'm level 50. I beat it about a week or over a week ago. When I beat it, I was probably about 34, 35, I'd guess. But I also had people helping me just run through it quickly.
Did you do any of the side stuff?
I really was trying to just run through the main story because I had to do it for some work I was doing. But I've been kind of going back and playing the side stuff lately. In the last few days, I don't think I've touched it in a few days now, but there's some pretty good stuff in there. We talked about it last week, how we all have some issues with the performance of the game and everything, but when the game works fine, it's a pretty good game. Still nothing that I would put as Game of the Year potential, but it's an enjoyable game.
Yeah, I think this for sure is going to be in my top 10 games of the year, just because I've loved the time I've played of it. But yeah, like you said, I don't think this is going to be in Game of the Year talk for me, at least.
Yeah,
I'm sure for some people it is, though.
Yeah. You have your big Borderlands fans that are just going to live and die by that game. The kind of people that are like wishing death on anyone that says it has bad writing or anything like that. Have you seen those?
Yeah. People are very passionate about their Borderlands games, even though it is not the best written game.
No,
out there. They'll still defend it.
It's kind of mediocre in that way, but regardless, whatever. It's a good game. What I've been playing this week, first off, is Link's Awakening. I think did this come out last Friday, or was it the Friday before?
I think the Friday before.
Okay, well, I didn't really get a chance to go into it like really hard the first few days of it being out, but this last week or so, I've really gotten deep into it. I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan, and I've played Link's Awakening in the past on my Game Boy Color, but I never beat it because back then Zelda games were a little too complicated for me. I didn't really get them. Now I'm just diving into it, and I love this game, man. The whole graphic design on it is awesome, and just the little mechanics, what they've done with the move from the Game Boy to the Switch is done really well. It's a great game. I really think I'm gonna just try and 100% it because it's not really a big Zelda game. If I really wanted to, I could probably nail it out within the next few days here, but obviously I'm doing other things as well. But really great game. Have either of you had a chance to play it yet?
I have not. I did really love A Link Between Worlds, but I just think that this is a hard sell for me to pick Link's Awakening up just because it's a $60 game. And in my mind, I don't think it's worth that. I think if it was a $40 game, I probably would have it already.
Yeah, there's been some talk about that, but every Nintendo game pretty much stays up there in price. And for me, it's worth a $60 game because, like I said, I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. So, like, there was some people complaining about it on Twitter. I was like, yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, that it should be like a $40 game because it's just a remake of a Game Boy game, and there's not much else added to it. I mean, there's the dungeon creator, but that's not like anything huge or anything. But I'm like, but I'm still buying it. And they're like, you're the reason it's this way. I'm like, yeah, probably. So it is what it is.
I'm hoping that Black Friday there's some sort of sale on it, whether it's like, that game going down to 40 for a day or two, or kind of like a buy one get one deal or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Knowing Nintendo, that's not happening. But
I mean, stuff like that, crazier things have happened. So.
Yeah, but not much with Nintendo. Like, what they might do is they might bundle it with a Switch console, like during a Black Friday sale, like they did with Mario Kart last year. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just not too hopeful for it, like, actually dropping in price anytime soon.
Yeah, but I mean, GameStop always has those buy two get one deals, so I can always go that route.
Games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it's used. It's a cartridge.
Yeah, you're still paying $100 though for it.
Yeah, but then I get something else as well.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Connor, what have you been playing this week?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Am I here? I've
You're
actually
good.
made it.
You're good.
I made it back.
You're on the pod.
Thank goodness. Awesome. Well, we're live. That's great.
That's all the time we have for you today, Connor.
Jeez, back to the moon.
Connor, back to your moon.
No, so I've been diving into a couple things here pretty recently. I think the first one I'll start off with is Untitled Goose Game. Have you guys heard of this game?
Oh, I've heard much about it.
I think everybody's heard. And it's kind of like it's kind of been over talked about in my mind, and I've never even played it.
I absolutely agree. This game has kind of like taken the internet by storm. It has blown up. If I'm not mistaken, I think it just reached #1 on the eShop selling charts. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, for the Switch. Just though, a quick note, like, yeah, it's beating Link's Awakening and everything, but Untitled Goose Game is a $15 digital only game.
Of course.
So you gotta take that into consideration, but still very impressive for a game that I think is the company or whoever makes it. I think it's their first game. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I'm not familiar, but I dived into it because on launch week it was on sale. I think the standard price for it is actually $20 as opposed to the $15 it's on sale for.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's a little more expensive generally, but that being said, I'm loving this game. The whole premise of it is you're a goose and you're an asshole. And that's pretty much it. And that's the entirety of the game. You go around doing all kinds of stuff. You get a random checklist that you kind of have to follow and go through, and it doesn't give you a lot of guidance or anything and tell you how you have to complete your objectives, so you're kind of free to do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, in the first level or so, one of your tasks is you have to get the farmer wet, and you can either do this by stealing something of his and going and dropping it in the lake, and he has to swim in the lake to go get it, or you can pick something of his up, drop it near a sprinkler, and then run away and go turn on the sprinkler when he walks near it. So you've got a couple different options. It's got some interesting stuff going on. I think the art style is really, really cool. The gameplay is just kind of soothing and fun. But I think really the thing I wanted to talk about with this one is just how ridiculously popular this game is right now. I mean, everybody's picking this thing up and playing it feels like. And after picking it up myself, I can see why. It's kind of that weird, quirky indie game that you want when you're picking up some indie games. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how popular this game's gotten. It's kind of all I have to say on it. I'm not super far in it. I'm sure I'll chat about it later. I don't think it's a long experience either, so I'll be done with it before too long.
From what you're saying, it sounds like it's almost like Goat Simulator, where it just kind of throws you in there and here's some tasks. You can or cannot do them if you want.
But this game isn't like living and dying off of like the bugs of it and everything like Goat Simulator does. This is just literally just, you're a goose, go mess up some stuff, which is fine. It's a very simple game, and I've been hearing people like be really excited for this game. Like back when it was delayed earlier this year, they were like so disappointed in everything. I was like, all right, I didn't know this was that big of a deal. Just a quick note though, I was wrong. This is House is the name of the developer. This is actually their second game. Their first game was Push Me, Pull You. It's that game where you had the like really long people. It's kind of weird looking. I've seen like Achievement Hunter play it before, but I've never played it myself, and it looks just weird. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, that seems to be their niche.
Yeah, this game just sounds weird, and I don't think it's anything I'll ever get. It just doesn't sound like something I would enjoy.
Well, I'm going to put this in our chat real quick, and you guys can just look and see for yourself what it is.
And I'm already like very annoyed at all of this goose bullshit on my Twitter timeline.
The memes are great, man. They're 10 out of 10. They're pretty quality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that it's going to be the talk of the town for this week, but here soon it's going to disappear, I think. There's just so much you can do as a goose, right?
Yeah, I think that kind of goes to the charm of the game, though. I don't think it really overstays its welcome. It kind of knows what it is and just moves on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the longest these memes last is probably until Outer Wilds comes out, and then nobody's going to talk about it.
Outer World.
Yeah, what? It's too confusing. Isn't there an Outer Wilds game?
There is.
Yes.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's not easy. So what's everybody else playing?
So I'm just gonna kind of talk about some Apple Arcade games because I've been playing quite a few of them. First and foremost, I tried Sayonara Wild Hearts, but I just haven't had time to sit down because I want to play it with like headphones on. Maybe hook up my Xbox One controller to my iPad and play it that way. But what I did play was pretty cool, very visually appealing, a lot of vibrant colors and stuff. So it seems really cool, and I'm into those rhythm type games, and it seems like you can't really fail at this one, which is nice, real nice. Connor, you have an iPhone, right?
I do, yeah. I've been thinking about checking out the Apple Arcade stuff. I don't play a lot of mobile games, so I'm a little concerned on the value proposition. Do you know what the pricing structure is again?
Yeah, so I don't play mobile games at all either, but I think I'm going to keep it just because there are some games that I really enjoy on here. So each month is $4.99. It's $4.99 a month, and you get all these games. There's no ads, no microtransactions in any of them. So in all the games that I've played so far, they all feel pretty fleshed out. So like they're like quality games for what you're paying. The first month is actually free, so if you sign up, it doesn't charge you until the second month. So you have a month to try it out if you wanted to.
Do you know what the rough count on games in the service is right now?
I think right now it's at around 75 or something like that, but they're projecting to have over 100 by the holiday.
I mean, that's a lot for a $5 a month kind of subscription. You look at things like Game Pass, and obviously it's kind of apples to oranges for that comparison. But
I mean, especially look at things like Mario Kart Tour that charges $4.99 a month just to have 200cc mode.
Yeah, that's one thing I was curious about too, is how do you feel like, I don't know how deep you've dived in with some of these games, but does it kind of feel like it's removing the microtransaction aspect, like that's not so prevalent here?
Not really, because like for some of the like Sayonara Wild Hearts, like that game is out on Switch and stuff now. I think PS4 and Xbox as well. But
right.
Yeah, but like that's a game that is literally just a game that they decide, hey, this could work on phones too. So there would not be any microtransactions there. I'm looking through games that I have played that might have some.
Yeah,
there
I'm just
is
curious,
one
because like obviously the mobile market has been infested with microtransactions for so long. I just wonder if a service like this maybe helps curb that a little bit.
Yeah, there is one game that I just downloaded that I've heard a lot of people talk about called Grindstone. And it's kind of a different take on like a match 3 type game where you're making your way up a mountain essentially overall, but each level you kind of have to make your path by connecting all the colors together and then collecting things along the way. So that's the one game that I played that I could definitely see them having had microtransactions if they were not on this service, because they could easily charge you for like power-ups and stuff if they wanted. But
right,
the fact that it doesn't have it,
or whatever.
yeah, the fact that it does not have it, I think makes it a better game personally.
No, that's cool. That's what I was kind of worried about with this is, if I'm going to be paying this premium to get access to these, what is better about that than just going with the freemium version? And it sounds like maybe that's kind of a perk to it. So I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I just want to talk about a few more games. Skate City is a game. It's like a side-scrolling skating game, and it almost controls like the Skate EA games, which is pretty awesome. So I've been enjoying that a lot. It just pretty much takes you to different levels, and they're not very big levels, but it takes you to different ones and has you do different challenges each time you load in. And the other one I've been playing is called Mini Motorways. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Mini Metro, I think it's called. Let me look it up. Essentially, that's the wrong name. Essentially, it's kind of like Sim City in a way, but without all the bullshit. It's pretty much like, as soon as you start, it'll say, hey, here is a building with like a small parking lot. And then it'll say, and that building will be red or purple or green. And then it'll say somewhere else on the map, here is a red house. You have to connect the roads from that house to this building with the resources you have. And you go through the week, and every 7 days, which I think a day is about a minute long, maybe 30 seconds, I don't know. But once you get through 7 days, once you get to the end of the week, then you get 20 more roads you can use, and a road accounts for like one square on like the grid. And then it just keeps adding stuff in different colors, and you got to try and connect them, and then you have to add like what's called a motorway, which is like what am I thinking of? It like a highway essentially. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, they came out with a game. Let's see. This is by Dinosaur Polo Club. They developed and published it. They also had a game called Mini Metro, I think it was, where it was pretty much the same concept, but with designing like train paths in cities. And so when you load up Mini Motorways, it has, I think, 4 or 5 cities. One of them's like Los Angeles. There's Tokyo, I think, Beijing. And so it's kind of like spot on. And as you keep going through the days and it gets more and more complex, the map is kind of zooming out while it's adding stuff. So it just gets really, really tough. But it's really fun. That's probably the game I've played the most. It's very addicting.
All right.
But yeah, I think that Apple Arcade is definitely, as of right now, I think it's worth the money. But obviously that could change if I get bored of the games that I do enjoy and decide to stop playing them. So
yeah, I'm interested to see how they take this in the future. It's very easy to launch a service like this and build up excitement with a roster of launch titles, but to keep it going is infinitely more difficult. And you have places like, Game Pass that have showed consistently they can keep up the quality. I'm just hopeful that Apple does the same.
I do know that all the games that are on this subscription service, they're tied to this subscription service. Meaning like Sayonara Wild Hearts, it's on, I think, Xbox as well. That means that it cannot also be on Xbox Game Pass while it's on Apple Arcade.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they have some really weird exclusivity deals in terms of subscriptions.
All right.
Yeah, whatever works for them, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, the other game I've been playing this week is Hitman. So this was the free game for Xbox One last month. And I've talked about it before. I've played it before back when it was on Game Pass. But I finally got around to finishing the story in it. It's a pretty short story, and I've done a little bit of going back and playing through it. And man, this game's just really well made. So if you don't know, you play as Agent 47. You're given these targets that you have to kill, and when you're on your way to killing them, you have just essentially this big open sandbox where you can do a ton of different things to get to your target, to get past these guards, and just find all these different ways to get your target killed. And it's just so smart with the things it does, like just going around and eavesdropping on people so you can get leads on ways to get behind enemy lines and all that, and just really figuring out just how to go about like poisoning the person you're going for or impersonating someone else. It's there's just so much you can do in this game that when it was announced and like when it was coming out and everything, I was just like really dogging on it because it took an episodic release for this, and I guess that's not really fair of me to do, but it was, after playing it, man, it's such a good game, and it's just really well made. And this is really a game that usually I'm not interested in. I'm much more of a faster moving kind of person, where this game is, you have to be very patient and you have to pay attention to the little things and just really know, you have to go in with a plan of attack. And usually I just like to react in my games and that kind of stuff. This game, though, it's not that, and I'm enjoying it. So it's really, I think it's a good testament of just how well IO Interactive made this game, and just really amazing to me how Square Enix just was able or willing to let Hitman leave their roster so WB could pick them up, because it's such a well-made game.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they did that too. Even though I've never played the games, but it's such a cool thing, because you don't hear about stuff like that much. Like, I think the other thing that happened recently was Bungie, leaving Activision, and they let them keep Destiny. Granted, we don't know the ins and outs of that. Like, I'm sure they must have paid some money for it, but...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I was actually thinking about the other day is Bungie and IO Interactive. Those are the only two times that I've heard of a publisher actually giving up a franchise for the people that develop the game. Like, that never happens.
Especially with Activision. Activision is a fucking huge publisher. Like, I'm very surprised they let them get away with that.
Well, you gotta figure Bungie was paying a lot of money for it, considering that Activision put, like, what, $1 billion down on it? So,
yeah.
Bungie really... And also, that relationship was really strained. I think Activision was just ready for Destiny to be off of their roster, really.
I think they saw people kind of starting to lose faith in the IP, and they took that as an out for both sides, so...
Yeah, for sure.
But I think and we're going to talk about it, and I guess this is a good segue into what else Connor's been playing, but I think it's kind of worked in the game's favor, because it seems like people are really loving the changes they made with this new Shadowkeep update.
Yeah, most of the feedback that I've heard so far from people other than myself has been pretty positive. Granted, I think that a lot of the people that are playing Shadowkeep right now are kind of the people that have been playing Destiny on and off pretty regularly for the past little while. The other cool thing that launched with it, and I just want to make a quick note of this, is that Destiny 2 is now completely free to play as far as the base game goes, and the first two expansions, all the way up to, I think, Forsaken, which is the previous DLC that you have to pay for, and then Shadowkeep you have to buy as well. That being said, though, they're going to a bit of a different system with this stuff, where everything is piecemeal and you don't necessarily have to own previous bits of content to play the new stuff, which leads us into Shadowkeep, the latest stuff that dropped October 1st, so very, very recently. I am sitting at, I think, level capped for this DLC, so it boosts everything up to 750. So if you have weapons in your inventory, gear in your inventory, literally everything is boosted to 750. Which is a little disorienting when you log into that character select screen for the first time, because you see all three of your characters all up at 750 the same. So a bit of a shocker there, but the cap for this one I think is 950, so about 200 levels or so, and I'm sitting at about 910 right now. So,
oh man, you're a nerd.
Yeah, I've put a hefty amount of time into it so far. I've been jamming with a couple friends. Grinding through some of the activities, and what I'll say is that the game is very, very short so far.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot on Twitter, and people are saying the story of this new DLC ends very abruptly, but I think that their goal is to keep elaborating on the story with these seasons that are coming up.
No, I agree, and that's what it seems to look like, because they tried doing that with the Forsaken stuff. Just jumping into it with some kind of content to look at. Granted, that was much, much larger, and then just evolving the story over time with things like season passes, seasonal content drops and things like that. And it worked to some degree, but for me it wasn't what I was looking for. It wasn't substantial enough to keep me there, and a lot of the stuff that they did introduce was way too grindy. But that seems to kind of have a shift in this. A few of my favorite changes, and I think a lot of this, to tie back to the Activision stuff, is things that Bungie couldn't have done when Activision was still tied to the IP. And so I think we're already kind of starting to see a benefit here. Things like Eververse. So in Eververse, that is the microtransaction store, essentially. They've now added that throughout the entire game, where you can just access it from a menu instead of having to go to the tower every time to pick and buy stuff, which is fantastic. A lot of the stuff can be earned through XP, as well as anything that you've had previously. You don't have to rebuy with like Bright Dust or the step below the premium currency. You can just pick it up with legendary shards and glimmer. So that goes a long way in making it easier to reattain the stuff that you've paid for, which is nice, as the inventory slots are so ridiculously small in this game, and I wish they would up that. But the other cool thing that I think they've changed in this as well is the armor system. This was always my gripe about Destiny 2 in the first place, was that the armor system just sucked. You would get random pieces that would drop, and you had to slot them into your armor. Same with the guns. This is all kind of gone now. Before, it kind of cost you to rip these mods out and put them back and forth and things. Now you just get one singular mod that can be slotted anywhere. So it's more like a count-wide unlock, if you will. Like, let's say target acquisition, you want that for your sniper rifle. As long as you've had that before, you can slot it on any gun you have for a paltry amount of glimmer, instead of having to just have one that you try to rip back and forth. And if you leave it on a gun and dismantle that gun, it's gone forever in old Destiny, but in Shadowkeep, it is good to go. You've got it with you. So some cool stuff there. Enough about that, though. I do want to chat about the story real quick. Nothing too deep, as it is very, very short, but I think that this one has arguably one of the coolest beginning missions that I've ever played in a DLC. This one is essentially a moon D-Day. There are tanks and ships.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. I literally just bought the deluxe edition today, and I haven't played it yet.
You've got to jump in and play it. It's got so much cool stuff going on. And it basically kind of ups the ante and just nonstop all the way through throughout the DLC. It just continues this giant hype ride from start to finish. So it's got some cool stuff going on with it. That's kind of my quick thoughts as far as the Shadowkeep DLC goes. I'll definitely be playing more, and I'll check back in later. But I think as far as what they've showed off so far, I'm very interested to see where they take it over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I'm excited to hop back in. I did buy Forsaken, but I never really got too into it. But yeah, it sounds like a lot of the things that they've changed have been for the better, so I'm hoping it keeps me in, and I'm going to try and be more active in my clan and try and play with them a bit more, because they're playing every day.
The most overwhelming change that I feel like Shadowkeep brought to the table is that the game no longer feels like you have to grind for everything. Instead, it feels more like the Borderlands formula, where it's just constantly throwing stuff at you, but there is things of better quality that you should be on the lookout for. So even though it's throwing loot at you, it's not always of the best quality or the best stuff you can get. So there is things to chase, but it's just more plentiful and a little less serious about its loot chase.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm excited to get back into it and see. I'm sure I'll have thoughts about it next week, on next week's show.
Yeah, jump in and play sometime. If you get in, let me know. We'll throw down. That being said, I think that's a really good segue into what you are playing.
Oh, we already talked about it.
Yeah.
Borderlands 3?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's while you were gone,
geez.
while you were dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
Well,
we're
that's
done.
On me then.
We're done talking about games.
Yeah,
I should really get back into that game and play it.
We're getting on to the news that everyone needs to know about.
Well,
yeah, this is now the Shawn Layden podcast.
We can talk about the news, and I'm going to go take a nap.
All right, John, you want to take this first one?
Alright, so on September 30th, PlayStation put out a little tweet. It said, "It is with great emotion that we announce that Worldwide Studios chairman Shawn Layden will be departing SIE," that's Sony Interactive Entertainment. "His visionary leadership will be greatly missed. We wish him success in future endeavors and are deeply grateful for his years of service. Thanks for everything, Shawn." And then a little update that IGN put out. This is Matt Kim. He says, according to GameIndustry.biz, Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan Asia president Atsushi Morita had also retired yesterday, the same day as Shawn Layden. So quite a few pretty big shakeups happening near the top of
shit's
Sony.
going down. Something's going down. I think it's just maybe they don't agree with the vision of the company, the way that they're going, or they were strong-armed out. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know the background of these. I guess retirements. Yeah, I guess that's what they said, is that both sides are just retiring. Very convenient that both would be on the same exact day for nothing to be really going on there. So I think something.
So did you really think Shawn Layden's retired?
That's what they were saying, is that he's just departing.
Where does it say that? It just says departing. It doesn't say retired.
Oh, wait, no, the other guy retired. That's right.
Yeah. Because there's still speculation about where Shawn Layden might end up. Like, people are saying maybe he was offered a job at a competitor, and they're like, nope, you're done now. Like, no 2 weeks. Because that's how a lot of companies are.
I mean, he's probably got enough money that he could retire if he wanted to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
As soon as you get to a certain point within a company, you pretty much have FU money.
But also, if he was going to a competitor, I also don't think they even put this tweet out. I don't think they really make any mention of it, just that he's gone. But regardless, so yeah, if you don't know, this is really the guy that he's kind of been the face of Sony for a bit now. Last year at the Game Awards, he was the one that represented them, walking out on the stage with Reggie Fils-Aimé and Phil Spencer. He's been the guy that's led the E3 shows that they've gone to. Interestingly, he never was in State of Play, was he? Huh.
No, I don't think so. I don't think many of them, like any of the higher ups, were.
No, yeah, it's just a random voice doing it. So yeah, it's definitely interesting because this is a big deal for Sony. This definitely means like there's a new person at the wheel now, and things might be changing here. We don't know what kind of changes those are yet and everything, but definitely something that we needed to talk about. Connor, what are your thoughts?
This stuff's weird, man. To see Shawn Layden, who's been an industry icon for so long, just depart with little to no fanfare whatsoever.
Oh yeah, 30 years at Sony.
That's just crazy. There have been rumblings for the past couple of months of a bit of a power struggle happening. It's Sony, and there hasn't been a lot of news around it or proof that it's even happening. But to see two big departures like this, especially Shawn Layden. I mean, Shawn Layden has been, like you said, 30 years is just insane to leave like this. You kind of look over at when Reggie left Nintendo, how big of a deal that was, and how big Nintendo kind of made it.
There was a video.
Right. Granted, Reggie was a bit more of a public figure. Shawn seems to be a little bit more recessed, but you can't help but wonder, like, how much of this is maybe chalked up to differing opinions on next generation tactics. The PS5 is just around the corner, and when classically there is kind of a new generation, there's kind of a company culture shift in a different direction, and I wonder if maybe this is a result of that. Either way, it sucks, it doesn't feel good, and it's just weird.
Yeah, I think about everything we talk about Sony this week is just feels odd to me.
Yeah, so in other changes coming to Sony and PlayStation, this article from IGN reads, PS4 crossplay exits beta, now a full feature for developers. This is from IGN by Matt Purslow also. I think that last one was as well. And it reads, Sony's crossplay function for PlayStation 4 has now completed its beta phase and is a full feature for developers to make use of. Strangely, Sony has made no official announcement about crossplay being promoted to a full feature. The news instead comes from a Wired article, which states that the crossplay is now available for any developer that wishes to implement it in their game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare seems likely to be the first new game to support this at launch, with it being set for release later this month. Yeah, these are exciting times because I'm curious to see what games that are already out decide to retroactively add crossplay because of this.
I don't think it's going to be many that aren't, because you already have Fortnite, you already have PUBG, you already have Rocket League and all of the high-res games.
Yeah, what about Apex? That could be one.
Maybe.
Borderlands,
the
maybe?
big question here is Destiny. People are asking for Destiny crossplay, and you got to think that cross-save is leading up to it, and that's really the one that people want to happen. So,
yeah,
if anything, it's that game.
I think that'll be the one that is loved by many.
Yeah,
sure.
I actually just wrote up in an opinion piece earlier today on how crossplay is cool, but we need cross progression in everything, and it's just I like that they're like going in with the crossplay stuff first, but I think once we get the cross saves and everything nailed down, that's when I'll truly be happy with all this stuff.
The thing about cross progression, though, I think that's more on the developer side. Because it's essentially up to them to make some sort of service where you have to sign into.
Yeah, but it also comes down to, let's say you bought skins or something in Fortnite on the PlayStation Store. Or no, you bought them on the Xbox Store. If you load up that same account on the PlayStation Store, their big problem was that they weren't getting the money for you having access to that skin on their platform.
Yeah,
so,
but that was just one odd man out, though.
But you look into how much loot boxes and all those kind of purchases are really affecting the game industry as a whole, and no one wants to lose out on that kind of money. No, really my biggest thing with this news is just how much Sony isn't talking about this being a full feature. Because this has been one of their bigger black eyes during this console generation, this and the backwards compatibility thing. And they've like really tried to make sure in the past that people knew that it was coming, and like Shawn Layden coming out and say, yeah, we want this available for everyone. And then all the smaller devs started coming out saying that Sony was telling them no on it and everything. This news, like, this is in the very bottom of a news announcement that PS Now is getting a price cut. Like, it's so hidden. It actually took a bit for any major outlet to actually report on it, like IGN. They were the first ones.
Yeah, it almost seems like they were trying to hide it so that like the public eye didn't see it or something.
Yeah, it's
because that way they didn't blow it up, which everybody has.
It's just so strange. Like, you would think that Sony, who's just kind of looking for all the good news in the world right now, like, you really want to get this kind of good news out there, saying, hey, yeah, we're moving forward with this, be excited for the future. But nothing. Like, they haven't. I'm gonna check their Twitter real quick, but yeah, I still don't think they've said anything on it.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's pretty exciting that it's now out of beta. I think that opens a lot of doors for games coming out in the future.
I think with them not talking about it, though, it makes me wonder, like, Sony called this a beta when crossplay was first kind of being pushed at, and it was really only because the consumers kind of bunched up together and they were like, hey, Sony, what the heck? Like, why isn't this happening? Everybody wants it, developers want it, so on and so forth. And so the pressure kind of was on Sony, and then they made this choice to have this beta that they called it, and now it's an open thing where it's accessible by anybody. But it makes me wonder, like, what are the terms and conditions of this? You know, what kind of other stuff are they kind of not talking about? And maybe that's why they're not speaking about it. Maybe there's an approval process that has to be gone through still to get this. So even though it's not in beta, you know, to say maybe there's some other kind of red tape that Sony has imposed on this. You can't help but wonder with them not talking about it.
Yeah. like I was saying earlier, that Sony's just doing a lot of weird things right now.
Yeah, it's also worth noting, you kind of brought it up. I just thought we'd say it, that PlayStation Now prices have dropped to $9.99 a month or $60 for the year, and those are down from $19.99 a month and $100 a year. So, I mean, if you're interested in that service, go for it. And it also now includes God of War. I can't remember the other games. Infamous something or another.
It was Uncharted 4, Infamous Second Son, God of War, and GTA 5.
Yeah, which are all pretty good games. So
And those are there only until January.
Only until January. And you can stream those to your PC, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, you can't download them and play them or anything. But
yeah, no, it's only streaming. So better hope you have a good internet to run those.
Yeah, better call Comcast and get that gigabit fiber real quick. All right, who wants to take this next article?
I'll take it. Randy and I are close friends. Not really. So this last one is kind of a continuation to a story we've been talking about on and off for the past couple months here. And we'll just dive right into it. This one comes from Kotaku. Ian Walker is the pinner here. And the title reads, Gearbox and former lawyer agree to end their bitter legal battle. The messy legal battle in which Gearbox Software and its CEO Randy Pitchford have been embroiled with the company's former lawyer Wade Callender for almost a year has come to an end, with both sides agreeing to apologize, drop the matter, and never speak of it again. In a court document first shared by Insider, counsel for both sides agreed to a motion of dismissal, noting that the parties have, quote, resolved all claims between them, unquote.
Yo, I am calling bullshit immediately. Somebody
Someone
had
paid
something
out a
dug
lot
up.
of money.
Yes,
Or somebody dug up more dirt than the other one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. I think that's what happened. Somebody dug up more dirt than the other one. They're like, all right, this cancels out, right?
It's
like,
cool. We good? We good?
They're like, yeah, this and $2 million.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the accusations that came out of this and kind of the fanfare it received for a little while, I mean, this was just blowing up. And when they were getting ready to launch Borderlands 3's kind of media campaign leading up to the launch of the game, it was just stuff that they didn't need to be talking about whatsoever. It's good to finally have it out of the news because I'm sick of hearing about it. But at the same time, man, you've got to wonder, like, what was talked about.
I don't think this is the end of the Randy Pitchford weird
Oh,
shit.
absolutely
It's not.
The Randy
Like,
Pitchford train wreck.
He's just
This
a target at this point of
This
people
is just
trying
one
to find
part
stuff.
of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And to be fair, all that stuff didn't affect how the game released. You know, like it sold 5 million copies in 5 days. That's crazy.
Which really speaks to how popular that game is. Like, all of the especially in the world of cancel culture we live in, for a game like that to blow up even with Randy Pitchford attached, people really love their Borderlands, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you nailed it on the head there. It makes me wonder, like, how far is this gonna go before Gearbox starts taking action against Pitchford? Like, hey, dude, this is enough. Where do they draw that line, and when do the fans draw that line? Because it's just been story after story this year, and it just really amazes me how, one, he's still up there and still so very public, and two, just like how they let him get away with this stuff.
Yeah, it almost seems like he's just constantly getting a pass for everything, and it's kind of ridiculous. But it is what it is, I guess.
That's Uncle Randy. Don't worry about him. We know he's a little rapey, but it's fine. It's no big deal.
It's okay. He just likes his booze, and
It's
he
fine.
will love to show you his magic tricks.
We only see him once every 5 years when he releases a game, so it's fine.
He
It's
yells
true.
at us a little bit. He gets a little abusive, but it's cool.
Calls us muggles, says it's a pleasure to work for him. It's great though. We love it here. Send help.
Yeah.
All right.
It's so bad.
Enough Randy Pitchford talk for one podcast, I'd say. Let's get into the topic of the show.
I want to ask this.
All right,
I want
go
to
ahead.
ask because I'm the one that has no opinion whatsoever. So I need you guys to tell me, what are your thoughts on Nintendo's latest mobile offering, the incredible, the epic Mario Kart Tour? Joel, let's start with you. What do you think of this game?
Dude, it's awesome. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. That game sucks, man. It's so bad.
Why? What's so bad about it?
The controls suck. I can't stand. I downloaded. I was telling you this before the show. I downloaded the game. It has you do it has you select how you want to play, like beginner or advanced. And of course, I'm gonna select advanced. I've been around the block, man. I'm a gamer. You know what I mean?
Full-fledged tattooed gamer. Understood. Okay.
So like I sweat and stuff when I game. So I'm pretty intense. So I go in there and I'm playing. I'm like, man, this is bad. You can't go off the track at all. It's auto assisted all over the place. You can drift and it does give you that little boost, but it's like, come on, it's not that great. I don't know. I did not like. I didn't even get to the main menu. That's how long I played.
This sounds like an absolute nightmare. John, do you have a similar experience with this?
Okay, so I played a little longer than Joel. I actually played through a whole cup, and yeah, this game fucking sucks. It's awful. This is not Mario Kart. So as Joel was saying in the tutorial, it kind of like has you do a little test drive and everything, teaching you how to play and everything. The game, it feels like an on-kart racer. Like it's so weird. It automatically accelerates you, which, okay, whatever. You didn't have to do that, but whatever. As Joel was saying, I was literally trying to drive myself off the road, and it would just bump me back, and I just go back into first place. There are 2 steering modes. There's one for the like beginner crowd where you're just swiping with your thumb and you're turning, or when you swipe with your thumb, you drift. And there's no in between there. It's either you always turn or you always drift. So if you're on that drift mode and you want to make just a little slight correction to the way that you're driving, it puts you into a whole drift and like sends you against the wall. But it doesn't really matter because you bounce right off it anyway. I like how they brought back the Mario Kart Double Dash like special items. Like that's really cool, but really, that's the only thing that's good about this game. It doesn't feel good to play. It's very boring. Like, it's just another problem with Nintendo and all of their mobile offerings so far. They're just trying to sell their old Mario IPs, but they're trying to change it up too much. It's kind of like a thing like back with the Wii and the Wii U, where they were just trying to do something different too much. Like, all they really have to do is just put out an emulator of their old games on this, and millions of people will buy them. Because, like, tell me, like, is there any doubt in your mind that you would pass up a chance to play, like, Pokemon Red or Blue or Gold and Silver just on your phone? Like, just have a little emulator on it and play it. Like, I've done that. I would
probably play that more than my Xbox.
Right? Like, that's such a cool idea. And just like put up a little emulator to play Super Mario World. Like, it's not hard things to do, and you're like always trying to get on people for emulating your games and just stealing them and everything. Just sell them yourselves and people will buy them. Stop giving us these shitty games. Dr. Mario World, Mario Kart Tour, and Super Mario Run wasn't awful, I don't think, but it definitely wasn't great. Like, I would much prefer any other Mario game over that. Like, they're just trying too hard, and it's failing really bad right now.
I have to ask, since you mentioned kind of control schemes, is there any kind of motion control in this?
No, it's just all your thumb. It's either the turning or the drifting, and that is it. Like, there's nothing else.
Sounds horrible.
It's not good, yeah, and
it feels very bad. Like, like the controls are not good not even in the slightest. I do know a lot of people have been saying that they've been playing it a bit just because they want to see the new tracks that were added, because they're brand. Some of them are brand new tracks that aren't in any of the games yet. So yeah, there's speculation out there like maybe some of these could make their way to a future Mario Kart, or I don't know. And there's a new character in this one. I don't know who it is. All I saw is it's some busty lady. Do you know who it is?
Busty lady.
I only saw Pauline in there. I didn't see.
Tour.
So what?
Pauline? I don't know who that is. It's Pauline.
How's that?
Pauline is Pauline's the girl from Super Mario Odyssey.
the like jazz singer, but she's also the original girl from Donkey Kong that Mario is saving from Donkey Kong.
Okay, see, I never played through Odyssey, so
what the fuck?
I'm a monster. I'm a monster, guys. I know. I have it.
It's so good.
I've said it time and time again. I bought the game. My girlfriend took my Switch, and I never saw it again. So.
Well, then have her explain Pauline to you, because Pauline is a treasure.
She's not in the room, or I would totally ask her if
Super
Pauline
Mario
is a
Odyssey
woman.
is a treasure.
Yes, it is. So the characters available that I saw are Mario, Peach, Toad, and at the beginning I only got Toad and Peach. You only unlock one character at the beginning, and I'm not sure if it's Toad every time, but I got Toad. Yoshi, I know there's Pauline, Bowser. I know there's Mario in like a jazz outfit, and then I want to say Wario as well. There's no Luigi at all in there.
Oh, that's messed up.
Right? It's like only, I want to say about 10 characters, and yeah, it's really weird. You don't unlock them through like actually earning them or anything. It's all through shooting the pipe, which is their loot box system. I hate this game, and I wanted it to be good. I wanted to enjoy it, but man, I just cannot, and I had to uninstall it. It's
so
not
with
good.
That being said, there's only one question that remains at this point, okay? And I want both of you to answer this at the same time. The question is Mario Kart Tour or Dr. Mario Mobile? Which one?
Probably Mario Kart Tour for me.
Probably Mario Kart Tour, yeah.
Dr. Mario was that bad?
I couldn't
really
even play.
bad.
Okay, so
Mario Kart Tour
they're
at least
improving.
has things happening in it. It's Dr. Mario World was just completely a waste of time.
It was so easy. Like, it was made for like a 3-year-old, it seems.
Yeah, where Mario Kart Mario Kart Tour is frustrating in the fact of we know how good Mario Kart is on the consoles and everything. Dr. Mario World is just disappointing because they just tried changing it up and they tried making it easy, which you did not need to do. It's just literally drag, drop, and that's all you do. Mario Kart Tour, you at least... Like, I've seen a bunch of videos of people just setting their phone down and they automatically win the game, like, without touching it, but...
That's just the easiest way to farm XP.
Yeah, but you at least can put some input into it, so... Man, they're just not good.
Such a bummer. Do you see them even continuing after this being such a big stinker with their mobile offerings at this point?
Yes, because it's actually making a ton of money, and that's the sad
gross.
part.
Yeah, I think it has like over 30 million downloads or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a week.
It's making a lot of money right now. So they're definitely going to continue with it. I hope they make it better. Like, there's always a chance that they change it up and make it better. But man,
Yeah,
I
they
just
could.
I do
not
know
good
the way it is right now.
That one of the things people have been saying is that when you play the game, it makes it appear as if you're playing online with like usernames and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's always
you're
bots.
not.
Yeah.
It's all bots. So it's like, why?
It's kind of like a Drive-A-Tar thing from Forza.
Yeah, so it's like, why even do that if it's just going to be bots anyway? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, they're not live races. It's everything is against bots.
I never expected Mario Kart to be so depressing.
Oh, I know. And
This
the thing
is painful.
it's making money, so you know people are loving it because it's probably people who played Mario 64 when they were a kid, and they don't game, so they don't have a Nintendo Switch. So like, oh, Mario Kart on my phone for free? Let's go.
Yeah, it's just so disappointing. Like I said, I really wanted to like it. Here, let me just pull up a quick article here. This is from CNN. Mario Kart Tour is Nintendo's biggest mobile hit yet. Nintendo's latest mobile app, Mario Kart Tour, was downloaded more than 90 million times in its first week.
Oh my god.
That's a new record for Nintendo mobile games. Its previous record holder was Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which had 14.3 million in the first week. So it's obliterating everything.
It just shows like Mario Kart is just such a big name.
Just
You know
as
what
a
I mean?
brand, yeah, Mario Kart is huge. Let's see if they I know that there was... Okay, the game has made $12 million so far, which Nielsen said is certainly impressive, but he would have expected more than 90 million downloads. So they're saying, like, the downloads are about right, but the $12 million spent on the game is really impressive. So yeah,
people are probably hemorrhaging from this game fast then if it's that bad though. Like, those download numbers are impressive, but for him to say that 12 million is less than they expected, people must be uninstalling in droves, just like you guys.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just so let down by it, man.
All right, and to end this depressing podcast, I will say that there's one mobile Mario Kart game, and that is for the Switch. That's the only mobile Mario Kart game there should be.
Mario Kart 7's pretty good.
But it's not mobile. Oh, I guess, yeah 3DS.
It is.
I was thinking of 8
on the 3D.
Before the deluxe one.
But 8 is the best Mario Kart out there. So if you have a Switch, what the hell are you doing not playing that? Which you probably are, because it's the best selling Switch game. Or like it's the best percentage or whatever. Like 35% of people have it.
But with that, we end Pixel Street Podcast episode 78. My name is Joel Campos. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Campos63 or mixer.com/Campos63. I've been streaming a lot more lately. We are planning on doing some spooky streams. I think tomorrow night we're going to try and do something.
Yes, Friday night. That would be October 4th. We haven't laid down a time yet. Ooh, you guys free anytime? I'm free after 4.
Yeah, I'm free. I say we try and do it at nighttime, though. Like, I'm saying, like,
8 o'clock, we're doing nighttime.
8 Central.
Sometime tomorrow night, check out Pixel Street Pod on Twitter. We will be streaming Dead by Daylight. So this is going to be our first stream. We're planning on doing multiple streams and videos of just Halloween-themed games, stuff to make us scream, stuff that will just, like, bring out the spooky season. Really excited for this, even though I'm a huge coward and I hate horror games. But Dead by Daylight, super excited for, because that's a great game.
You and me both. John, where can we find you?
On Twitter, I am at Revik Shadows. Be sure to check out there tomorrow. My article talking about the crossplay and cross progression thing should be going up. I've also got tons and tons of other work I'm putting out right now. Should have a few more articles up before the weekend even starts here. Other than that, you can find me on YouTube. Just search Revik Shadows or go to youtube.com/JohnGW92.
And Connor, what about you?
I'm on Twitter at TheRealBirch, also on Mixer, BRCH. Be sure to tune in for those streams because I, like John, am also a huge baby when it comes to horror stuff. And the fact that we're playing at night is terrifying.
I tried streaming one time Resident Evil 7 in VR. I think that was like the most concurrent viewers I had in my stream because I was like on the verge of tears. Like I was terrified.
I'm sure I would too.
I had such a hard time making it anywhere in that just the regular game. My blood pressure was so high.
Yeah, I know we have Dead by Daylight nailed down. We haven't really nailed down any other games, so if you really want us to play something, be sure to hit us up on Twitter at Pixel Street Pod again. I was planning on doing a playthrough of Resident Evil 2 because I've never played it before, and I've had quite a few recommendations from other people, so I've got some ideas, but if there's anything in particular you want us to play, let us know.
All right, that ends episode 78 of the Pixel Street Podcast. We will be right back here next week for episode 79.
Bye!